With me today on the LBI Podcast are members of the Leadership, Business, and Innovation Committee for ESCRS, Paul Rosen, Artemis Matsu, David Lockington, Basik Bastansi, and Vincent Quinn. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello there.
Hi. Yeah. So the purpose of this second podcast in our series is to talk about, one, the expansion of the Leadership and Business and Innovation program. And then second, we're going to talk about our plans for Barcelona, especially on the Sunday of the meeting. So Paul, why don't you start by talking about the remit of the LBI committee now and how we've expanded out to a 12-month program.
Yeah, so I think the LBI committee and its offering is extremely important. I think there's a lot of business and financial illiteracy, I may say, in for doctors. We are not trained to be finance people or business people, yet a lot of our lives is determined by relationships with business organizations. So, ideally you would teach business studies in medical school, but it doesn't happen. So we are at a disadvantage when we were dealing with business partners, whether it's private equity groups, large corporates, whether we're trying to run our own departments or running our own private practices. And the sort of purpose of the LBI program is to give people a bit more background, information, and business skills, which they can then apply to their practices. In the past, we've had master classes at the main meeting, but what we've done now is to expand this over a year. So it's an integrated and a program which will flow from, for example, the meeting in Barcelona throughout the rest of the year. So we're going to have webinars, which have already started, podcasts, which have started, and also 2 weekend workshops. So all building up to provide what we hope is an integrated educational program for people.
Thanks, Paul. And Artemis, from your standpoint, you joined the committee, I believe it was last year. Where do you see LBI's role fitting in, particularly for younger ophthalmologists in the society?
Being a young ophthalmologist myself, I do feel that we have a lot to gain from a program like this, because it is true, as Paul said, that we're not trained to be business people. We don't know this aspect of ophthalmology, yet we have to do it every day in our practice, whether it's in the public sector, in the private sector. We are called to deal with business people and make decisions, financial plans, business plans every day. So I think this is a significant weakness of the system that is not provided through our training. And we find ourselves in difficult positions, in positions where without any training, we are called to make significant decisions for our career, for our life, for our financial status, and for the organization that we work in, for our practice. And that's a big limitation in what we can do. So I think for young ophthalmologists, especially the ones who try to make the step towards their private practice, and I'm pretty sure they struggle with that first step, it's extremely important to go through this program and see all those aspects and all that LBI program has to offer. And we do cover I'm pretty sure we cover everything that a young ophthalmologist should know in order to make that first step. And we have a lot of senior ophthalmologists sharing their experiences, how they approached their private practice, how they do the business aspect of ophthalmology. So I think it is great. And obviously that's culminating at the Barcelona conference, where we have a full day, a full symposium covering all aspects. But being part myself of the workshops that we've done, like the one last year in Frankfurt, I think it's great to also attend the projects that LBI has throughout the year, not just at the main conference, because they have a lot to offer as well. The podcast, David has done an amazing podcast on work-life balance, which I watched and I really enjoyed it. And I realized every time I had to actually listen to it twice at least to understand all the things that we may be doing wrong. So I think there's a lot of things that we can learn. There are senior ophthalmologists and younger ophthalmologists that share their experiences, their struggles, all the difficulties that they had to deal with. And I think it's great to learn from that.
David, what about your perspective on what LBI brings to the table?
I think Artemis just had to listen twice because of my accent, so I will try to slow down. I think if you look in the past, all this has been a closed shop, a closed club. If you wanted business insight, leadership opportunity, or innovation development, it was hard to break in. You'll appreciate I'm wearing my Barcelona top in honor of the event, but Barcelona FC's slogan is more than a club. And I would hope that the LBI committee's aim is that this is more than a club. We are not hiding this information from you. We're making it freely available so you can learn from best practice. You can learn from other people's mistakes. And I guess if we enable the tide to rise, everybody's boat floats higher. And that would certainly be my aim in the LBI activities over the coming year, that it's more than a club. We're a gang, we're a community, we're supporting one another for our patients' benefit and therefore for ours too.
LBI gang, I love it. We're just a bunch of thugs educating on practice management. Excellent. Thanks, David. Basik, from your viewpoint, in Istanbul and a very privately focused market in a lot of ways, what do you think LBI has to offer for your colleagues?
Actually, I really enjoyed the brainstorming generated in LBI committee, because we, the younger ones, learn from the the stories of the exit strategies from the senior ones. We learn from the decision making, how they discuss, I do it this way, I do it that way. We learn a lot from their discussions. But I think the senior ones are also learning from us, how we are using social media to promote ourselves, how we are using the social media without paying a penny on any ads, and also getting lots of patients from social media, and how we are engaging, how we are collaborating and network through this social media, and how we are, reinforcing each other. So the brainstorming and information sharing in LBI committee is really wonderful. And as a private, I'm working in a private practice in Istanbul, and it is very, very challenging. But the things I'm learning from the LBI committee is really making a difference between me and the colleagues that are not learning from LBI committee.
And hopefully we can share that knowledge. Vincent, you also joined the committee roughly around the same time as Artemis last year. So from your perspective, what as we evolve, what kind of impact do you think that will have on your colleagues in ophthalmology?
Now, the European Society of Cataract Refractive Surgery obviously has a very, very high volume of good quality content and conferences for technical skills and for hard skills. And that has been also, of course, the main focus of the society. So we have all these extremely good talks and presentations about science and also about clinical skills. But we indeed do not have a platform as yet, which does offer a huge amount of soft skills. And as a matter of fact, the LBI committee program is really here to improve the soft skills of its participants and to have an audience which also cares about not only dealing with eyes, but dealing with people, because every day we actually indeed deal with people, whether we are in private practice or whether we are in a hospital. We actually have every day a lot of interactions with people. So we need actually to understand how to run these soft skills in order to progress in our careers. And this is indeed, as Artemis has said, not being taught in university. So we need to focus on a lot of topics such as finance, management, leadership, how to lead a team, how to motivate a team. We're talking here also about innovation, about decision-making processes. We're talking about the private equity landscape, for example. And the LBI committee program really offers this platform of exchange. It also offers you to build a professional network, which is around innovation and around these soft skills, where we can discuss these things at free will and without any hassle. And so that, I think, is a major impact of the LBI committee this year, because it is going really to shape the future of how we view ophthalmology on the business side of things and on the management side of things.
And I think that the survey that we did to kind of kick things off this year, and you talked about the soft skills, that was really apparent in the responses, because people wanted to, about change management, work-life balance, dealing with staff. All these things are very much soft skills that you have zero training until you're put into a clinic and you're required to do it. Paul, you were nodding in agreement. Did you have something to add there?
I think the networking potential is extremely important, and I absolutely agree. It is an extremely stimulating experience to be part of the committee. I think the committee meetings are great fun, and I've learned a lot from all of you guys, and I hope that all our delegates will also get that value out of it. I would just emphasize that we are naive in terms of business and finance, however good we think we are. And I think it's really important to inform all our colleagues as much as we can to get them interested, and it makes us stronger as a group and working together. We used to have a masterclass on the Sunday, and we decided to change this to have a series of 4 symposia or 4 modules. And the idea is to bring in not just ophthalmologists, but really focus on their teams. So their practice managers, their techs, and people involved in running their practices, so they can learn skills and take those back home to base and hopefully educate their ophthalmologists that they work with. So we're talking about team collaboration and culture and values. And thanks very much to Vincent Quinn for organizing this. Then we go on to talk about patient decision making and how patients make decision. And Artemis, again, thank you very much for leading on this. We've got the lunchtime symposium, and that's going to discuss how to successfully implement innovative and new technology into your practices, and cover all aspects from how do you choose it, and how do you cost it, and how do you actually fit it into the workflow. Then in the afternoon, we're going to look at marketing, and we've got some very innovative marketeers with Barsak Bostanci and David Lockington. So thanks very much, guys, for organising that. And finally, what I think is an extremely important, and as you say, Chris, it sounds boring, but actually is extremely important, is quality management systems. And I think the value is not just the certification, but it's really the thought processes that you go through in evaluating your clinic. How good is it? Where are the issues that need to be improved? And I think it's really important for everyone to just look at their practice from outside as though they were going to get some form of quality assessment. And whether you do the actual qualification or not, it's the looking at your practice, which is extremely important. So I think great end to the day, and commend it to everyone. I think they'll have a fantastic day.
I know when we were talking in the committee meetings and planning, and we got into this whole discussion about value of an organization, team collaboration, and Vincent, you had just read a book that had really seemed to inspire you. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you're hoping to achieve in the first session of the Sunday Symposium?
I was indeed tremendously inspired by a book called Scaling People, written by Claire Hugh Johnson, who was the ex-COO of Stripe, the fintech company, which has grown tremendously in the last years. And so in that book, she really describes the basics and the introductory words for anyone who is actually put on a management role, how to manage people, how to actually develop a team, for people who have done it or for people who have not done it. And in there's really a skeleton of good ideas which really help any would-be manager to actually build first of all a culture, to build first of all values and missions of a company. And once this is done, and once you have values, missions, and you have aspirations, then you can develop a strategy on how to achieve it and how to recruit people, for instance, how then to develop these people, how to have a team which has a united culture. And at some stage, you also need to do performance reviews. You need to improve the performance of your team. And sometimes you also need to fire people, or sometimes you need to understand what are the needs of the team. And when the team has difficulties, to how to support them. So all in all, dealing with people is probably the most difficult thing that you would need to do as a team member or as a manager. And it's not science. It is really a form also of art, because there is no basic 100% rule about it. So you need really to understand how actually to manage people, how to collaborate as a team, and how to make a team work. And the first module here in Barcelona of the LBI program at the annual meeting is really focusing exactly on that. How actually to improve team collaboration, how to motivate people, not only from the manager's perspective, but also from a team member's perspective, and how to create an effective team dynamic in your clinic or in your hospital, so that the mission is achieved, so that the values of the organizations are defined, and the strategy can be executed, while at the same time respecting all the team members.
So you're joined on this module by Celine Ribel, who's from France and does team trainings, worked in clinics, run refractive clinics for many years. Matt Jensen, who's from the US and was the CEO of Vance Thompson's practices for many years. And he's going to be talking about collaboration from the management perspective. And then Asim Sheikh, who has spent many years as he's an optometrist / clinical trainer, and has spent many years helping teams grow and develop around new technology. And so I think that Vincent will bring, 3 very unique perspectives to the program about, how team collaboration should work. And then next up is module 2, which is patient decision-making, the path to shared decision-making. And moderating this module is going to be Artemis Matsu. Artemis, what are your thoughts on this particular area that we're going to be covering?
Well, I have to say that I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because as you can see, we have some amazing speakers. We have Susan Albrecht from the ASON Committee, Stefan Palkovits, again from the ASON Committee, and then we have Sheraz Daya and Milin Pandey, who don't need any introduction. We all know them. They're very well-known cataract surgeons and businessmen. And I think it is about learning the art of decision-making along with our patients, how we can educate them, what aspects we have to take into account in order to for them to feel content with their choices and well looked after, because that's part of the success. That's a key part of the success of any practice and any surgeon, really. It's not just about doing a good clinical work and surgical work. It's also about leaving the patient feeling content with what you have offered to them. So I think it will be very interesting to hear how different surgeons approach this aspect. For example, we have an actual audience vote as well between like a competition between Sheraz Daya and Milin Pandey on their approaches, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I can see that every surgeon has a different kind of view on this topic, and I really think that it's going to help a lot of surgeons maybe tailor their approach or get some tips and see how other people practice. I think that's going to be very helpful for sure. It's all about good communication with the patient. Again, patients are the ones that are good outcomes with our patients are the ones that are going to make us even better surgeons and make sure that we have success in our practices. So I think that's going to be a very good session.
Thanks, Artemis. And then at lunchtime, we're going to shift gears a bit, and we're going to be doing a jointly sponsored workshop with ESONT, the European Society of Ophthalmic Nurses and Technicians, focusing on successful implementation of innovative technology. And Paul, you're going to be chairing this workshop along with Andrea Rosa, who's the chair of ESONT. Can you tell us a bit more about this program?
So if we walk around the trade exhibition, there are all sorts of new gadgets, technology, and all purporting to provide great patient care and improving patient care. So one of the big questions for a lot of people is, should I be buying it? Can I buy it? How do I buy it? And how do I cost it? And the symposium will cover, hopefully, most of those aspects. And we've got Joaquin Fernandez, who will, I think, unwrap, as he puts it, the paper. and Bear all. And Shiraz will talk about the actual the math, the finances of affordability of introducing new technology. And then, of course, if you have a new technology, you've got to do some internal marketing to your staff so that they can present it in the best possible way to the patients. And then if it's something new, you have a very well-established patient pathway, everything runs smoothly, and you've got to work out a way of integrating that into the patient flow. So this symposium at lunchtime will cover all of those aspects, from deciding what you're going to do, what you want to introduce, how you do it, how you cost it, and how you actually practically get it to incorporate into your practice.
Thanks, Paul. And I should mention that one of the speakers for this workshop is going to be Vanessa Fosser, who's the founder of the AI school, AI business school in Zurich, Switzerland. She works as a specialist in AI to help companies adopt this technology and implement it more efficiently. So this is going to be a special 90-minute workshop. We're going to be serving lunch. People will need to pre-register, but it should be a very exciting program.
Yeah. Chris, perhaps I can add that with all of these speakers that we're bringing in, we've made a huge effort to find new speakers to refresh the program. And one of the sort of the ethos of the committee was not keeping the same people coming back time in and year in, year out. So lots of new speakers, as well as lots of new committee members, which has really stimulated the whole program and whole process.
Yeah, very, very much so. And yeah, we have really cast the net wide for this year's program. And so we have speakers from literally from around the globe for the LBI session on Sunday.
Chris, you've done a great job of finding these people.
Well, thank you. So after the technology workshop, Basic and David Lockington are going to take the stage and talk about marketing. Basic, do you want to start by introducing the program, and then David can jump in?
Yeah, sure. So this is really going to be a very fun session because we are going to have three great speakers. I think, first of all, you can't stay away from digital marketing or social media. You cannot say, I'm a great cataract surgeon, so I'm going to stay just away from digital marketing and social media, because in 5 years, I strongly believe you will be out of the game. So this is a very important session, I think. So first, Martin Makek is going to talk about how to approach digital marketing without spending all your money on ads. Then Daniel Cook will talk about cooperative marketing, bringing together colleagues for a shared purpose and benefits. And last but not least, a good friend of mine, Ben Lahout, is going to talk about how to go viral on social media. I believe it's going to be a very, very fun talk. And they are going to tell us how we can use digital marketing and social media to spread our word, make people know about our talents, and how to do it successfully.
And David, you sort of jumped on the Ben Lahoud approach a couple months ago when Ben put out a video that used a very well-known hamburger chain's premium product to demonstrate different forms of refractive surgery. And you, I understand it, with the aid of your children, created a sort of a counterpoint video. Do you want to talk about that?
Far be it from me to parody my friends like Ben, but imitation is the highest form of flattery, is it not? What I think is fantastic about this session is many people feel they can't go up against the big people. And we have heard phrases like advertising and marketing is the tax you pay for being unremarkable. And that's unfair, even though there is a grain of truth in that, because otherwise big industry wouldn't pay anything for marketing, yet Apple and Nike and all the rest of them do. So there must be something in it. But why I think this session is going to be fantastic is you've got different perspectives, including Basic, so look forward to hearing that, from different population groups in different countries. And I hope from the end of it, we will be able to say what sits well with me, what allows me to be true to myself, but also what enables me to be appropriate for the population for which I either serve or which I either wish to target. In Northern Ireland, there's a great phrase that it should be word of mouth, but not your own. And that only works up to a certain point if you have to actually pay the bills and keep the lights on. So I think this is a fantastic session just to allow ourselves to shine. We're not interested in false humility. We're trying to tell our patients where to get the best care. And hopefully that will be with us.
That's perfect. Thank you, David. And then the final module of the day is going to be on quality management systems. And because I know when you say the word quality, a lot of people start to doze off. And we very infamously put on a program about 12 years ago on quality and the room was empty. I've put the title as sounds boring, but here's why it's a great investment in your clinic. And Vincent has helped us find a fantastic guest speaker who's going to be Professor Dirk de Ritter, who's the Director of Quality and head of the research unit for healthcare policy at the University of Leuven. And Professor Ritter is also a urologist, so he's a practicing clinician. And I got a chance to speak with him today ahead of this podcast, and his perspective, as both a quality practitioner and as a clinician are very unique. And he's really going to come at it from the way about why this does have a positive impact on your clinic and how you practice medicine. And so I'm hoping that in this final session of the day, we're able to engage with the audience and really get people thinking about, if putting a quality management system is a practical, reasonable choice for your clinics today. Vincent, do you have anything to add there on the quality management system?
I think Dirk is going to come as well with a panel of ophthalmologists at his hospital, and there's going to be indeed very high quality discussions about how to implement quality and management systems in clinics, which I think is essential, because without quality you don't have anything else. So quality is really the basic thing that we're offering in the care for a patient. So this is really actually a very, very important topic, although it might sound boring.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Vincent. Anybody else have anything to add about any of our modules that we're going to be highlighting in Barcelona in 60 days?
People should come. They have listened to enough Toric IOLs.
I think the people who actually attend in the end, they see the value of it. So I think it's definitely worth attending and seeing the value of what we're offering.
I mean, we're all very good at the technical side.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We do every day, 8-10 hours a day. But this is out of our comfort zone, but absolutely essential to developing our practices. So you've got to come and see it.
The only thing I concentrate on when I'm going to a meeting is learning something new. If I'm going to, give myself, a reminder of what I did throughout the whole year when I attend a committee, like in a congress, it doesn't mean a lot to me. But if I'm going to learn something totally new that can change my business plan, I think it's worth it. At least they should go and give it a try for like 2 modules, and then they will understand if it's beneficial for them or not.
Perfect. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining me on this, the second edition of our LBI podcast. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your enthusiasm for what we're doing, what the committee is doing. And I think you all echo what I'm about to say, and that we really strongly hope that you will join us on Sunday, September 8th in Barcelona for our Leadership and Business Innovation Day.
We'll be there.
Everyone to come and attend this program.
We hope to see you there.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you in Barcelona.
See you.